2024 was a great year for Indian chess. Gukesh became the world champion, and on the other hand, Arjun reached 2800 rating. But one of India's biggest chess prodigies, Praggnanandhaa, did not have a very good year. Coming into 2025, the first big tournament, the Tata Steel Masters, Praggnanandhaa shows his class, and this is a must-win scenario where he will be facing Grandmaster Alexey Sarana. So let's see how the game goes. In this match, Pragg is playing with the white pieces and Sarana is playing with the black pieces. The match starts off with d4, knight f6, c4, e6, knight c3, a classic Nimzo-Indian setup. And now Sarana plays d5, and now it is a queen's gambit decline. Pragg takes on the d-pawn, e takes d5, and bishop to g5 played, pinning the knight to the queen. Black plays c6, and now Pragg plays queen to c2. Black plays bishop to e6, developing his bishop. e3, a very natural move played by Pragg. And now something very interesting, and now knight bd2 played. Pragg now plays bishop to e2. After bishop to d6, Pragg played bishop to d3. It seems that he just lost a tempo on this move. But the point is, when Pragg played bishop to e2, he secured the h5 square. For example, if h6, then g5, the knight now cannot sit on the h5 square to target the bishop. And now when the bishop comes to the d6 square, he plays bishop to d3. The point is, now after h6 and g5, the bishop is now met with the black bishop instead of the knight. So this was a very interesting move played by Pragg. And indeed this happens in the game, and now Sarana plays bishop cross bishop, pawn takes bishop. Queen e7, black trying to castle queen side, and Pragg plays knight to f3, a very natural move. And in this moment, black made a very fatal mistake in this game, that is g4. This pawn on g5 protected the h4 square, and the knight could not sit on the h4 square. But now, as this pawn is pushed forward, the knight sits on the h4 square, and there are no pieces in the black position that can threat the knight. The dark square bishop is exchanged, and the knights are not positioned well to tackle this knight. Now black plays knight to d6 and white castles. And the moment black castles longside, Pragg launches an attack immediately. a4 played. And you can see that this is going to be a one-sided attack, because the attack on the king side for black is completely stopped by this knight alone. The pawns cannot come through, the f pawn is also blocked temporarily, and by the time it opens up, it will be too late. So black has to play defense now. King to b8, a very useful move. a5. Knight comes forward. The Indians wanted the move a4 straight away, but Pragg instead played knight to a4. This is also a very logical and human move, because the knight can sit in the square. Black repositions his knight and protects the b7 pawn. Now Pragg also positions his knight very well. a6 is played to stop any infiltration of the pawn on the a6 square. But this bishop and this knight both are aiming on the a6 pawn. There is a very big tension going on in the black position. Now white brings his rook in the open file. Black brings a defender in this position. The b pawn is pinned to the king. The only move that draws the game in this position is king to a8, simply unpinning the king from the queen. But in this moment, Alexey Sarana made a huge blunder. He unpinned his king from the queen by playing knight to b5. Knight to b5 is a fatal blunder in this position, because the next move that Pragg is going to play in this position is knight cross a6 anyways. A brilliant knight sacrifice in this position, completely opening up the defense of the black king. Pawn takes knight, rook takes c6. You can see the black king is completely exposed in this position. The rooks are active, the bishop will take on the knight, the queen is staring at the king straight away. And there are 3 white pieces. In fact, this rook will also come into action. 4 white pieces directly attacking the king. And the knight on h4 is defending the king side alone. If he plays any move like king to a8, suddenly bishop takes, pawn takes, queen takes, and you see these rooks are active, the queen is active, this rook is going to be active. Now black desperately needs to play defense to try to hold this position. He plays rook to d7, stabilizing the 7th rank, defending from any incoming threat by the queen or the rook. But this move, rook to d7, cuts off the bishop from this diagonal. Remember, this knight on the h4 square, which is playing defense the whole time, now simply jumps into f5, targeting the queen, and white adds another piece to its attack. Queen retreats back to d8, bishop take knight, pawn take knight, and now if you take with the queen, then you can see the eval bar jumps a bit low. This is because black can play the move rook to d7. And in this position, white is still winning, but white needs to play a bit precisely. So Pragg, instead of taking on the pawn directly, he plays another excellent move on this position, a6. The main purpose of a6 is to stop the rook from coming to the b7 square. Black plays rook to a7, stopping the pawn from promoting yet again. Now he plays queen takes pawn, king goes to a8, and Praggnanandhaa finally jumps in with his knight to d6. The visible threat in this position is rook takes bishop check and winning the queen. So in order to save this position, black played bishop to d7. And Pragg, within 4 seconds, instantly sacrifices his queen. Queen to b7 check. And Sarana in this position resigned the game because rook cross b7 is forced, and after pawn takes b7, this pawn is guarded by the knight. The king has to come to the b8 square, and rook to a8 is checkmate. What a classy checkmate delivered by Pragg. This was a do or die game for Pragg in this tournament, and to win it in this fashion is just spectacular. That's the class of Praggnanandhaa. He went on to win this tournament by defeating Gukesh in the tiebreakers. And he started 2025 with a bang and also reached the 2750 rating. So that's all for this video. See you next time. Thank you.